Hello, welcome everyone to Fridays at 4 on twitch.tv/DDO stream. I'm DDO's community manager, Cordovan, and I'll be with you for the next hour with a little bit of news. Just broke some news right there, just a couple minutes before I went on the air today. And I'll be in game on Wayfinder later on, just running around. This will be the last time you're going to see me for a couple of weeks. When next we meet, there's a pretty good chance update 58 is going to be out. So pretty exciting time, but yes. So let's get to that bit of news first, and that is, as mentioned in the producer's letter, we are indeed presenting at Pax East this year, and I'm happy to share details with you today. Although some pretty big details are still yet to come. The main thing is, we have a panel presentation we'll be doing in the Albatross Theater, that's room 210 of Pax East on Thursday, March 23rd, from 2 to 3 p.m. Eastern, called How Game Devs Build Dungeons Live. And you're welcome to be there. So if you are attending PAX East, absolutely please do stop on by. And we're going to be doing a community meetup that evening. That's the bit where I don't have all of the information for yet. We're on the cusp of signing a contract, and once that's done, then I can let you know. But there's going to be a community meetup that Thursday evening, time and location TBD, but early evening, probably something like 7 p.m. Eastern. We'll see. And that'll be that Thursday, March 23rd as well. That's where we're going to have a hangout, a meet and greet. We'll have swag, although I think we're going to have swag at the panel too. And we're going to have Artemis, Torque, Nobob, Tolero, and I'll be moderating a panel about how we make a dungeon live. So this will go into the pitch process. This will go into how we make the dungeon. This will include presumably some audio video of seeing the creation process in action. And we've got between now and March 23rd to put it all together, which we are in the process of doing right now. But the fun bit too, I'm gonna drop this image, if I can, and put up a different image, or no, a web page, because there's one fun bit that I could mention to you where right now you can actually help if you want. Here we go. Well, this isn't the greatest. This just isn't working for me very well. All right, well, I'm going to show it to you anyway. And this is what we got. So there's a link on the page to SurveyMonkey. And let me put that link into chat. And that SurveyMonkey link has two kind of weird questions. And those two questions are going to help the team really figure out the dungeon that they're going to be building. So this is going to inform some of the ideas behind it. You'll see when you actually look at the survey. It's all kind of word prompts and things like that to kind of help get things going. But that's the idea. That's the idea. So we'll be taking answers to that survey, I think, until the 23rd is what I said, something like that. But plenty of time to get in your answers to that question. It'll take you no time to fill it out, some time to consider it, is about what I'd say on that. So anyway, we're really excited. This is really cool news, and it's pretty neat to be able to be at not just at PAX East this year presenting, but also able to do a community meetup for the first time since 2020, which happened right before the COVID pandemic, just a couple of weeks really before the stay-at-home period. So we were able to get together on the other game side for the Lord of the Rings in Germany this past year. This past August, we were able to present at DevCom and have a community meetup in Germany, really for the first time in a very long time. And that was super exciting as well. But this will be our first time in the States having a meetup since COVID. So it should be a pretty cool time, and I hope everyone is able to attend if you're in the area. And if you're not, you don't need a badge to go to this community meetup. You can just show up. It's going to be at a bar, so I think it is 21 up. And I know that's an unfortunate restriction, but it's whatever the laws are for downtown Boston area. I'm pretty sure that's 21 up on most bars, and but it's going to be pretty close to the convention center, is at least what I've heard so far. So we'll see. All right. I have some other news as well, though. What else did I've actually made some notes today. All right, so I've got the Pax East panel and meetup. I think all details are there. We'll have more information about the location of the Pax East meetup within a couple of weeks here. Maybe even as soon as like Monday, Tuesday. But as soon as everything gets settled and we can announce it, we will. I would mention that we do have a DDO bonus days bonus of a 40% challenge rewards boost. That is going through Sunday. Challenge rewards boost maybe not being our most popular bonus, but if you're going for challenge rewards, now is a great time. I would also mention that the Hardcore Season 7 retrial by fire ended this past week, and so the leaderboards are now available on DDO.com. The top Reaper XP, remember this is a short season, right? It's only 60 days. Was PAFFTW with 134,100 or no 1,300,000. I can read numbers. 1,341,522. Tied with Upgrade. UPGRAYEDD. I don't know if they were working together, if they were just neck and neck competing, or what's the deal there. But that was the number 1 and 2 on the Reaper XP leaderboards for Season 7 was 1,341,522. And we didn't get below 1 million until position number 5 with 925,000. So pretty amazing accomplishment there. On the favor side for Season 7, we had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a 6-way tie for 1, so the whole group working together. And that is Jinx, Jinxopia, Lost, Buffy, Inspire, and Aerofin Heal. So congrats to all 6 of you for hitting 7,022 favor during the 7th season of the Hardcore League, which is nuts and awesome. So there we go. Okay. This is a boost to the rewards, the challenge rewards that you get from, say, like the Evening Star challenges. You get a certain number of widgets for completion. You will get 40% more widgets this weekend. The PAX Q&A is on Thursday, March 23rd. Also, hello, Humble Friar. Hey, Kalari, nice to see you. All right. Yeah, so I will get to the rest of your questions and news here in a bit. So let's move on. So we've got the after party covered. I would mention, let's talk a little bit about the server transfers that are underway right now. We're not doing a lot of hype for this, but it is something that's happening you should be aware of. And that is that, remember at the end of Hardcore 6, we had some server transfer issues, specifically with Orion and Sarlona. And so we are doing a period of free transfers to Orion and Sarlona that began this Wednesday and runs through February 28th. That following Wednesday, we'll be shutting it off at 9 a.m. Eastern. Free transfers to Orion and Sarlona remain available till we bring the game worlds down on March 1st. And I have a forum thread. We can get a little bit more information about it if you want, but that's something that is happening this week, and I know that it's been of keen interest to some folks on the DDO forums and elsewhere, and we've been keeping an eye on things too in terms of the population. As expected so far, we have seen a ton of gear kind of shifting and consolidation, but that's basically fine. And we have seen some folks move from Galanda to Orion in particular, I believe it was. But for the most part, we haven't seen a lot of big changes in player behavior outside of these first couple of days of bringing all your gear over and things like that. But so far, things are mostly working as expected, and we are keeping an eye on it to react as needed here in the coming days. So, All right. The other thing I would mention. Okay, so this came up in chat here about the hardcore. Oh, actually, the one bit I didn't mention, and I really did want to do that is when is the end of the hardcore after party? Let me get my own information up quick so I can make sure I'm saying it correct. Yes, the hardcore after party free transfers to any game world through March 7th. So through March 7th on the Hardcore 7 after party to make sure you do get your characters off of there. An issue came up at the end where at the end of season 6 and now again at the end of season 7, we have turned off daily dice during the after party. And that is by design, and that's what we're going to be doing going forward, is to make sure that we don't create a situation which we have seen in prior seasons where people stick around to the very end of the game where the server being shut down so that they can maximize their use of daily dice and then get characters off of there. And it's caused some problematic behavior during the after party. So what we're going to be doing moving forward here, just to be clear, is that daily dice will be turned off at the end of every hardcore season after party, including this one and the prior one. And I just want to be explicit about that in case there's any question. So if you do have any Astral Shard balance and you want to spend that balance down prior to transfer, and you want to do it using daily dice Astral Shard spends, then you want to do that before the after party starts. We'll be explicit about that in all future announcements. But that is the way it's going to be here for the hardcore after party. There are some other things you can do with your Astral Shard balance if you do still have anything left, although most folks do not at this point. So, all right. So yes, I saw a number about what was it, Darius, something in the range of 5,000 characters on a kind of player data chart there that have been transferred. That are in a transferred state to Galanda. I think the actual number was, I don't know what the actual number was. I think it might have been about 1,500 or so in terms of characters copied over, but. It was a lot. Most of that, though, is still gear kind of transfers and things like that. And it's a little hard to tell right away. It's not like they're marked differently in our data or something. But typically, there are certain behaviors like not running quests, never having run quests, or not run much quests or whatever, that with bank characters that you can kind of say, well, that's probably a bank character. And much of what we've seen related to world transfers appears to be mostly that, which is not surprising. I think that is to be expected. And like I said, the rest of it we're just looking at just like you are to see what happens. But it's a free transfer period to those worlds for just a couple of weeks. Hopefully, I mean, the goal is just for the hardcore folks, carrying through on our promises there. And hopefully the impact will be minimal. It's interesting. The Galanda thing has been interesting, but I don't really want to speculate too much about it on the forums. When you look at some of the player charts out there, you can really see the impact the forum conversation about Galanda specifically has had on the free transfer period here due to, really when you look at the two worlds, they're about the same. No one world is dramatically bigger than the other one. Even on the player run chart that I saw, it was like 10% versus 12% of the population. So basically the same. But yet there was a big impetus for whatever reason for at least one guild on Galanda to move over, and that seems to have caused a little bit of a cascading effect in addition to some of the forum threads, out of concern about what that guild was doing and the impact it would have on the number of people specifically moving from Galanda to the other game worlds. So it's been pretty interesting to take a look at. I'm not going to say consolidating your loot is a quote good thing that I encourage everyone to do. I can't do that. I would just say that it's not unexpected. If you're going to do free transfers at all for any reason whatsoever, up to and including all this hardcore stuff we do, you're going to see a certain number of people use it to consolidate some loot, and that's fine. It's neither good nor bad. It just is. So. Yes. So the reason I say when next we meet is that I am not doing a show next Friday. I'm out of town next Friday, so I won't be here next Friday. I will be here in 2 weeks. And by that point, there's a fairly good chance that Update 58 will be released. Does that mean Update 58, Unlikely Heroes, is scheduled roughly on a calendar somewhere for Wednesday, February 22nd? Maybe. Nonetheless, when I meet with you on the 24th, there's a pretty good chance that Update 58 will be out the door. And with Update 58 comes our anniversary event, because we've got our 17th anniversary underway here on February 28th. So a lot happening in DDO right now. And when next we meet, I will probably be running the anniversary event live on the air here, and we'll take a look at some of the fun things. I happen to know that they've adjusted the Cordovan fight again this year. I've seen what they did. I don't know if Steel Star entirely took my suggestion, but at least we're halfway there to the suggestion that I made to Steel Star when saying, I should change the Cordovan fight. What should I do this year? I said, you know what you should do is, and I've seen part of that, but I haven't seen if the rest of it actually happened. We'll have to see. So, how long till the anniversary event comes out? It'll be very soon. Not next week, most likely the week after. We'll have information about the full runtime of the anniversary event and beyond as we get a little bit closer to it. But you can expect, assuming that it gets out the door roughly on the 22nd, we will be continuing to have the anniversary event for 2 weekends, and then it'll shut off that following Monday. So that would put it through March 5th. On the anniversary dungeon event for this year. And I think there's a few new rewards, a few tweaks to it, and that's the majority of what we're going to see here for the anniversary event. But it's going to be a good time. Going to be a good time, and I'm really looking forward to you seeing it this year, along with Update 58. One of the things I did this week that I can't show off on screen yet, but I have been working to get our Update 58 release notes ready, and so I could share with you just a few bits of information from it ahead of time, which is that the anniversary event includes the giveaway of a new free cosmetic armor. That's the cosmetic armor that you saw in the DDO producers letter. And the way we're going to be distributing it this year is through the genie in House Fjarland by the anniversary event. You'll be able to speak to that genie once per day, which essentially means once per day per world, to pick up the armor. So log in on a Tuesday, you pick up one set of the armor on Sarlona, and that's the only one you can get for the day. But then tomorrow you can log in the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. And it is the same armor after all. And you can do that on all the game worlds. So the way we're going to kind of volume control it, just to prevent item spam, is you can basically get as many as you want. But you can pick up one a day. And you can do that by speaking to the genie at House Fjarland. The archetypes, as already mentioned, the Acolyte of the Skin, Blightcaster, and Dark Hunter are free as well, and so that's just free with Update 58. The other bit of free with Update 58 is a new quest called Kill 10 Rats. It's level 18 in Heroic difficulty, level 34 in Legendary, and you're going to be going to the Sharn Docks to help Morgrave University there. You've seen some of that on Bullroar already, but there'll be a new free quest associated with it as well. So the free quest, the archetypes, the anniversary, and then a whole bunch of bug fixes and other change lists that the release notes are already basically available on Bullroar related to that. And then there may be similar things that are coming in over the next couple of weeks. Oh, is my URL bad? Did I put in a bad URL? Sorry about that. You question about the Lamania client. You can't get the link to open to download after moving to a new system. Is there something you are doing wrong? Well, I can't speak to your specific issue, but the Lamania client, is that the link that you're talking about that's bad? I haven't checked it since, excuse me, I don't know, maybe this summer, but I can check it real quick. There's a forum thread called How to Access Lamania, and to download the Lamania client, you should just click here, and it does seem to be the correct URL, which is live.ddo.com. There's a bunch of other stuff there. You just want to save link as, I think. Yeah, save link as, and then that's that. Yes, right-click to save as to get it to work. That is a little strange. Maybe there's something we should do there to make that a little more, make a little more sense for people who perhaps now have computers where you just can't right-click as easily. Maybe that is something we should look into. Other bits of news before I head in. This is the final weekend of the Snow Peaks event. Last week I showed you how to get the Immortal Sun Flask. This is your final weekend. After Sunday, it's going away. So make sure to get your final bits in for Snow Peaks if you want to. And then finally, I would mention that we have a job opening. I don't know if anyone in the DDO audience here is a game developer. You know, this isn't an ideas position. This is a world building position. You're actually in the creator doing the work. But we are looking for a senior designer, world builder, for the DDO team. And that job just got posted, maybe a little under a week ago. So we're taking applications right now. So if you think that landscape content creation, decoration, public area space creation, world design creation work, instance work, things like that is something that you're interested in, and you've got experience with 3D game tools like Unity, Unreal, Maya, things like that. You'll be largely, I think, using our own proprietary world builder, but knowledge of those things is very similar in terms of the skill set needed. And especially if you've had MMO experience, please do consider it. We're looking for someone. So it's a rare opportunity for the DDO team, and I want to make sure that I get that out to the community because you never know. You never know. I know a bunch of people, myself included, who came from the DDO community. Linabel really came from the DDO community. A whole bunch of people. We have at least have a couple engineers that have come from the various game playing communities. So, yeah. Yeah, I said Maya. I don't know that we actually use Maya. I think the artists do, but I don't think we do. And I don't think dungeon creation really has much to do with Maya. But it was in the job description, so I mentioned it. And I think it's really just a matter of that's the kind of example of skill set you would need that would be applicable to being suited toward this position. So because this is really my last Friday before we have a whole bunch of new stuff, new free quests, new archetypes, anniversary event, and other things to do here, I'm really just kind of killing time on stream here for this last half an hour of the show. But what I'm mostly looking to do is I'm looking ahead to this character on Wayfinder getting their Isle of Dread weapon, because I just have the Morning Lord thing now. Last week I got the Snow Peaks gifts augments, and so I just need Isle of Dread ingredients on Wayfinder. And so best way to do that is just run around, hang out with you all, get some XP. I am only level 30, so I've got some room to grow there. And I'm just going to just kind of run a few quests and hang around for this last show. This will probably be the last time you see me playing Isle of Dread for a little bit. We'll have to see how that goes, of course, but at least for the next month or so, I would imagine, I'll be busy doing that. Please do, though. Keep an eye out for the. Did I say when we have Lamania? Did we just do. Let me look up my calendar here. I don't know if I mentioned it. But yes, next week we are working toward our potentially final preview of Update 58. And so keep an eye on the Lamania forums. There's a good opportunity to get any last feedback in and to get a preview of this in as polished a state as it's going to be here, for a little while. So your kiddo was 2 when you started DDO. He'll be 18 in a few days' time. That is really interesting. It's something that was on my mind just recently. There is an article that came out in a U.S. newspaper that got distributed around the office today. And that newspaper article is about 2 people who found love in The Lord of the Rings Online. And there is a quote by a U.S. immigrations officer who said that they often get sent the sort of paperwork necessary for online video game relationships, and they know of at least 3 other people who they had processed marriage licenses for through The Lord of the Rings Online. And we know what's happened on the DDO side too. I bet there's almost someone in every single guild maybe who is knows each other, met each other in game, was in a relationship and just gamed together, whatever, right? But I think we all know that our games have that socialization ability, which includes even the ability to meet people and start families and all that other kind of stuff. So it was something interesting to think about, but it's true. When I'm at PAX East in the past, I have had people say, we met playing the games, we've raised our kids while playing the games, and now our kids are hanging out with us and playing the games with us. And it's just been a social activity that a lot of families just do. And I don't think it gets called out other than maybe occasionally in the press as, whoa, did you know that people are actually like hanging out and doing stuff in video games? But I think the reality is that's just the world. That's just the way we socialize. Why do we just, like in the days past when you were staring at a telephone, or perhaps even in days of Zoom and that, why can't you play a game while you chat? And so I think the idea of hanging out, doing things online and socializing and thus meeting people and everything else is not really that strange at all. It was still really cool, though, to see. It was exciting. Oh, yeah. We've had in-game marriages in DDO, too. I can't think of, like, an immediate name right off the top of my head, but I know that we've had them in the past, so it totally happens. It's weird because I'm old enough that it's like, what, people play video games those and hang out and then are like actual, what, you mean men and women? I'm old enough that that was a thing. Still is, I guess, but not as much as it used to be. And so the idea of like people meeting and forming relationships in games, to some people I think is somewhat unusual, but it really isn't, not even slightly when you think about it. It's like, well, why are you only allowed to meet people in a bar or work or something like that? Why wouldn't you meet people wherever you are? So I mean, I'm kind of down for more underwater quests in DDO as well. Someone is saying they have a kid who wants more underwater quests and they're not sure they're on board. Because I'm 30, I'm going to go in on hard for this first one, and if it goes real easy, then I'll up it for the next, if there is one. But okay. I think there are some technical considerations. After all, there is the issue of combat underwater, and we were able to do a form of underwater combat, several places in the game, but it's not really the kind of, you're not swimming, horizontally and engaging in combat. It's sort of a pressure bubble that allows you to interact in combat somewhat similarly to regular combat. Um, but the idea of like a full-on underwater combat sounds pretty daunting, but awesome. So I'm down for it. I actually think our underwater combat's not bad. It's pretty good, all said and done. But you could always do more. Snow Peaks coins do not deprecate. So something to keep in mind on this final weekend. I don't think we have any worries that we're going to be doing a whole lot of underwater combat here in the near future. No, the frozen keys don't deprecate either. You can just hang on to that stuff if you want to. As you're well aware, though, I said it at the start of this Snow Peak, so I'm not sure everyone believed me, but yes, you really do get about as many frozen keys just by playing as you could want. So maybe you don't really need to hoard them and save them, but if you want to, you're welcome to. And there's even, I think, an argument to be made that we've adjusted underwater combat design a little bit between, say, Red Fens and Lost at Sea. When you look at, was it the Sharn prequel? I think the first section there where you've got the underwater combat, as opposed to the underwater combat in Red Fens, I think, even though it's mechanically the same kind of swimming underwater combat, I think it works perhaps a little more smoothly in Lost at Sea. At least I've always found that it did. And so I think, we too have made some improvements in the way that we present underwater combat over the years, the few times that we have done it. Oops. What? Did I miss something? I must have. Yes. So, Glassjaws is asking me. I only know this because I discovered this morning that the Super Bowl was this weekend. I was getting some energy drinks and I saw a bunch of people talking about the Super Bowl, and I was like, oh, yeah, that happens. Wait a second, isn't it Valentine's Day or something? They're really expecting all these people to be thinking about Valentine's Day when there's football going on. Uh, I didn't even know the Super Bowl was this weekend until this morning. So I have no opinion about the teams that are going to be there. And I don't really watch for the commercials either. Because I tend to find... So I watch a lot of free TV. I don't pay for my pay television. So I get it through the free services or things I'm already subscribed to, like, with I guess Prime and Voodoo and Tubi and that kind of place. Pluto, I get that. Plex is another one where you can get some pretty cool free TV, at least in the United States here. So that's where I get my stuff. So I had no idea. I tend to find those Super Bowl ads. They'll be playing on those things for years, and I don't really get much out of it. So I don't watch the Super Bowl for the ads. I do like the halftime show. I think, even though I'm kind of an old curmudgeonly punk sometimes at heart in my musical taste and things, I do enjoy the halftime show. I thought the Weekends was really cool, and I loved the one that had was it Dre and Snoop Dogg, and then of course the very famous Prince performance over the years of the Super Bowl. So there's been I really dig it, that part of it. So I'll probably watch that on YouTube or something if I can, like the next day. I'll follow some link to like full halftime show, and I'll check that out. But that's about the extent of how much I care about the Super Bowl or what I'll be doing with it. My prediction is the ball explodes. They're going to kick it so hard, it's going to explode. And then they're not going to be able to play the game anymore. What are they going to do without a ball? What? The NFL, they don't have that kind of money, do they? No ball has ever exploded from being kicked, thrown, or caught? Wow. You would think statistically. At some point it would have happened. Well, someday I'll be right, and it'll be amazing. Yes, I too would be very thrilled if Snoop Dogg wanted to be a DM for a DDO quest. If you're hearing this and you want to do that, yes. Please contact us. We will make it happen. I mean, we don't have any money to pay you. Nothing like you're used to. But if you want to do it for peanuts, then yes, Snoop Dogg, let us know. I know. I mean, he's certainly available. He does do paid voice work, so never say never. But that seems like something that would come together organically if it were to happen. I mean, I'm totally down though. I'm serious. Yes, I would. If you ask me, should Snoop Dogg Dungeon be a DM voice for DDO? I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, the thing where you get him to record birthday messages. All right, I need you to. My son is a level 12. No, I mean my son is 12 years old, and he's in a. No, I mean he's Just pretend that he's a skeleton. No, that you're a skeleton, Lich, and then you're. Yeah. I don't actually know where I'm going. I'm just wandering around. I don't actually think I've been over in this section too much. Where am I? Okay. Need to find my way on the other side of the mountain. I mean, he would be a. I mean this absolutely, honestly, that I think he would be fantastic as a voice actor for a dungeon. I bet it would be one of the coolest. It would be super fun. I'll try it on late. Oh, really? Well, that's exciting news to see the two of you at PAX this year. I mean, there's so many though, right? People are saying, well, what about like Danny Trejo? Yeah, he'd be great too. He'd be awesome, for sure. Pretty much any of the big name lists that you get on the kind of forum Reddit style threads of who would be a good DM. They'd all be great. I've long said that the one I want, my celebrity, if I won the lottery and could just pay to hire an actor to do a DDO voice session, would be Sigourney Weaver. I think that she would make a fantastic dragon. I've long thought that she could be the voice of Ella, and it would be really sweet. Although we already have a voice of Ella, but still, you know what I mean. But there's a lot of opportunity there. I think that's the one I want. Maybe even more than Morgan Freeman. I think I saw it ever since there was a movie that came out, Snow White: A Tale of Terror, or something like that, a while back, and it was sort of a dark, kind of a dark version of the Snow White story, and she was the evil queen in it, and her performance and voice work, and specifically in it, is just like, yes, so good. Ah, nice storyteller. Nice to see you here. I did. So, I happen to know someone in chat who is a published author now. That would be Kalari. Kalari's got a book out there, and uh, I was honored to receive a copy. I don't do I don't do a lot of reading these days. My time for reading has been slim, but I have read through some of it, and I thought it was really good so far from what I've read. So, congrats. I don't think you can drop a link to it in your chat, or in chat. I think I've got it set that that's not going to work. Well, okay, what am I going to do here? So I'm going to Jack Gibbers my way up, bring up Bulwark, and then we'll try this again. Not like that, though. No. Oh, this. The exact opposite of that is what I wanted to do. Alright. Almost. Alright, cool. Now I'm going to die, and then I will have Bulwark res me, and there we go. Oh, really? Yeah. So, I don't know. Oh, there we go. Let me take this. I don't know where you've got a link to it, Kalari, but Axiom is the name of the book. Because I haven't read the whole thing. It's a pretty big book, and I haven't had a lot of time to do reading, but I appreciate it. It's been awesome. Yeah. I know, Nimvind. I was lucky to be able to do a very small amount of voice work in the game. Unfortunately, usually due to adverse conditions, but that's fine. And it was super cool. I have a feeling we could rely on a lot of volunteer work for DDO dungeons if we want to, but we are, after all, a professional operation, and so typically use union talent. Yeah. I've been thinking about trying to get more. I've been playing, small group and solo for quite a few years now in DDO, and I'd like to get a little more bigger group running in, a little more raiding in. So I've been considering whether or not I should stealth join a few of the raiding get-togethers that take place on the forums and such, because I'd like to do some group raiding again. It's been a while. It would be fun. Yeah, like the Saturday night Argo would be one. There's Sarlona, Thelanis. There's a bunch of them. I want to stealth go in on those. I don't want to ruin everyone's good time by being all official on it. So I'm going to have to be quiet if I do it. But I do want to. Just because it's distracting. Half the group is like, whoa, Cordovan's hanging with us, and half the group is like, oh my god, no, Cordovan's hanging with us, we're doomed. Well, chance of succeeding in this raid just took a nosedive. Yeah. So yes, it should be the third and probably final Lamania will be next week for update 58, and then if everything goes well, the week following should be the release week for update 58. That would also be the start of the anniversary event that same Wednesday when the worlds come up. And the start of the armor distribution as well. I have found that unless I'm in a Mock Duck character, because people do sort of remember that name, I can usually get away with it. Like, if I'm just on a character and I'm not using voice chat, then I can usually just join a group and no one really knows. Like, not enough people watch the stream every week or care what my character names are while doing it. That I can pretty much, as long as I'm not on voice chat or say something, I can pretty much just join a LFM and get away with it. Maybe not too surprising. As soon as I start talking in voice chat, the room gets kind of quiet. And all of a sudden people are like, oh, okay. I know who you are. But as long as I keep my mouth shut. Unfortunately, as you all know, not always the easiest thing for me to do. I'll be in the middle of a raid and I'll be like, I could just say this one thing. I'll just be like, oh, over here. A little bit later, someone will be like, busted. Yeah. But it usually doesn't matter anyway, does it? You know. I ain't that special. Oh, I wasn't paying attention. Shoot. Oh. Now what do I want to do? Do I want to try this? How close am I to the end of the show? How close am I on this map? Yeah. Alright. This is all daily dice stuff, mostly on these res cakes. We only have the one character really on the server. Well, maybe I will just wrap it up here since we are just a couple minutes towards the end of the show. And I don't have my gibbers is still on cooldown. And there we go. Let's find out where I last rezzed. Where am I bound to? I have no idea. So, Chris the Mistword, I can't directly respond to the specifics of your question today, other than to say that we are looking at if there would be any concerns related to population on Galanda that we could react to it. So far, we haven't really seen that. The one guild that said they were going to go did, and we had a little knock-on effect as a result of that, including some interest, kind of the forum discussion specifically being done by several members kind of worried about the state of that one server. When you look at the numbers, shows that one server responded more specifically to those fears. But for the most part, it just like all the other worlds, it's been mostly gear consolidation, and the actual population difference to begin with between the worlds has not actually been that dramatic. So if one is up a couple percentage points and one is down a couple percentage points, they'll still all be within about 5 percentage points of each other. So maybe 7 or 8 percentage points of each other. All right. Well, there we go. I think we're just going to wrap up the show then there. But like I said, we are keeping an eye on it. And if we do have something we need to respond to related to server transfers, we'll do so. But so far, it's not looking like we will need to. It is, however, just the first couple of days. So you don't want to draw any conclusions or make any kind of statements about what will happen until you actually have a little more time pass. All right. Yeah, I'm also sure, related to me joining groups, that there are times where they know who I am when I join their LFM. They just don't care. And that's totally fine, too. All right. Well, thanks so much for watching Fridays at 4 on twitch.tv/DDOstream. I'll be with you again in 2 weeks. Until then, have a great weekend. Have a great week. Enjoy the preview of Update 58 on Lamania and its subsequent release, and I will talk to you all again real soon. Have fun.